Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome, and I'm so happy to be doing this again with you. I really love doing this with you. Okay, so welcome and please stay to the end. So today we are going to learn about signs of low self-esteem in a child. We've talked about signs of low self-esteem in a man, signs of low self-esteem in a woman, and today we're gonna focus on a child. And when I say a child here, I practically mean a teenager. Okay, I mean a teenager. So those kids who range between the age of 6 to 12. Okay, 6 to 12. So those are the young adults I'm gonna talk about. So if you are a parent and you are ever wondering if the signs that your child is exhibiting is to do with low self-esteem or maybe just something else, now sit here with me and get to know the signs. And in my next video I shall be talking about the causes and also how to deal with it and help them grow in a healthy manner and in a healthy way. So if you're a parent and you've been seeing some behaviors in your child that you would love to change, okay, and you do not really understand if it's coming from low self-esteem or just something else, okay, sometimes you might misinterpret their actions not knowing that it's coming from low self-esteem. Okay, so I'll just go straight to it. And one of the signs is that they will always have very negative behaviors. Either they're smoking, okay, they're smoking in school or rather wherever place they are, they're drinking, they're bullies wherever they are, they're just misbehaving, they're just doing things that as a parent you can never allow your child to do, or to be surrounded by. So you get to see some negative behaviors such as those, and then you realize that they blame others for their failures. So let's say, for example, they have been given some work, let me say online work, where they are required to go to the computer and do some research. They'll always blame it on something else. So if the child has been given homework to come home and do it, you realize that they start blaming the computer, or the computer didn't work, or rather the teacher didn't tell us well on what to do. So you realize that for such a child, it's never about what she has done wrong or where the mistake she has done or he has done. For such a child, it's always the other person who is wrong, or the blame is always shifted to another person. So when you realize that your child constantly blames other people for his or her own mistakes or failings, just know that they have an issue to do with esteem, which is they're having a low self-esteem. And then another thing is that they lose their temper very, very fast. They lose their temper very, very fast. So anything small, they're triggered. Anything small, they're triggered. Anything small, they're triggered. It's not that normal, to have a child who is easily triggered and easily angered. Once you see that your child or your teenager is actually having, let me say, is too sensitive, that anything is triggering him or her, just sit the child down and get to know. Because one thing you should know is that the child is actually suffering from low self-esteem. So just anyhow kind, or let me just put it this way, just being easily or anyhowly being tempered and quickly tempered and just being angered easily, it's a sign that your child is having low self-esteem. And of course there's cause for that, of which we shall be looking at it in my next video. All right, so let us move on from that. Now the next thing you realize in your child, okay, or your teenager child, is that they'll always be having mood swings, always sad, always angry, looking depressed, constantly like you can easily count the number of times your child is happy. You can easily count the number of times your teenager child is happy. So most of the time when you're asked, tell me about your child, the first thing that will come to your mind is that your child is always withdrawn, okay? Like she or he wants to stay alone, away from people, like always just getting somewhere where there's no one. Like the child cannot even associate with his or her own peers. They're always just withdrawn to themselves. They're quiet. They want to be in their own enclosed areas. They're normally so sad most of the time, and sometimes you look at them, you see they're very depressed and very angry. You know that this is nothing but low self-esteem in that child. So get to know that. Once you see that in your child, know that apart from other things, that is low self-esteem. Now, a child who has low self-esteem, there's one thing that you'll discover about your child if you want to know they're having issues with esteem. They constantly will always talk negative about themselves. They'll always say things like, oh, I'm ugly, or I'm stupid. Probably maybe in school they're not doing better. So you realize that because he or she is not doing better, she starts to believe, or he starts to believe he or she is being stupid. And then you also realize that probably maybe they are not fit enough, and because of the bullying that they get from the bullying they get from their learning institutions or just friends, they take it in and they start looking at themselves as being ugly. So you realize that this child will constantly talk negative about him or herself. Another thing is that the child will keep on comparing herself or himself with others, okay, in a very negative way. You'll find a child saying something like, oh, so and so has plenty of dolls, I don't have any because my mama or my daddy cannot afford. So and so go to school with a bus, and us, we are poor, we cannot go with a bus, we go with, yeah, probably something else, public means or so, such things. So you realize that they want what is in their neighbors most of the times. Okay, don't get me wrong here, sometimes kids compare, okay, sometimes kids compare, it's normal. But when you have your child constantly comparing, it's like to her or him, you've got to do things in alignment with the ones or the one person he or she is comparing to. So once you do things that are not aligning with the person he or she feels you should be comparing to, then they'll start feeling some type of a way. So when you realize that your child is always comparing herself with others, then know that they are having an issue with uh, uh, low self-esteem. And especially the comparison comes in a negative manner, whereby they put uh, the one they are comparing to with here, and for them they put themselves somewhere here. So if your child is comparing him or herself to a neighbor, she or he will put the neighbor somewhere here, and then for herself or himself down here, to show you that she's not doing well, or rather as a parent you're not doing well to actually help him or her in a way that they are the same. Okay, yeah. What else? If you realize that your child is overly concerned about other people's opinion, then know that that is a red flag to show that your child or teenager child is undergoing low self-esteem. Okay, so I want you to get this clear. If your child is the word is overly concerned about people's opinion on him or her, then know that your child has an issue to do with self-esteem. Your child should be in a position whereby, as much as opinions come from out, they're not supposed to really affect the child too much, that he or she becomes overly concerned about the opinions. So if he or she is overly concerned about other people's opinion of them, then that is a show of low self-esteem. And then lastly, when your child has a habit of saying, oh, I can't, okay, I like, they just can't in anything, okay, can you be able to do these sums? I can't. Can you be able to improve on this subject? I can't. Can you be able to do this and that? I can't, mommy. I can't, daddy. They know that this child has low self-esteem. So as a parent, you need to come up with ways to help your child rebuild her or has his or her self-esteem back to the standard, or rather back to a high one. Okay, so I just want to tell you that children are born equally, but how they're raised, there are things that occur around the environment or occur to them that make them develop this low self-esteem. Okay, so as a parent, there's no formula to parenting. That is one thing you should not, as a parent, there's no formula to parenting. Every parent is out here doing what they know is best for their children. But if you notice some of these signs in your child, there must be a cause. And because there's a cause, then it means there's also a solution. So you can step by step talk into your child's mind, talk into your child heart, and try to reverse all the things that your child is doing that shows they're having low self-esteem. Okay, so if it is about let's say negative self-talk, okay, reassure them how good they are, how good looking they are, they're the best, there's no one like them, they should never undermine themselves, such things. Okay, so you just counter the negative things that they're talking about themselves. So in my next video, I shall be handling probably what causes these kids or teenagers to have low self-esteem, and how to work on it, or rather the solutions to these kinds of behaviors from them that show low self-esteem. So that was what I had for you today. I hope you've learned one or two. As a parent, never give up on your child. It's good to be to be aware of these things, okay, so that you can know how to help them. You cannot help a child by being more negative. When they talk negative about themselves, you just reassure them and tell them, okay, yeah, it's true, you are stupid. Okay, there's a way you can reverse and help your child become even much better. So having low self-esteem in a child is not something that your child will live with it forever if you mean to help them. Unless you leave it at that stage, then be sure your child will grow up to be always having low self-esteem. So it's good as a parent, you nurture your child when they're still young about these things, when you discover, and you nurture them well so that they grow up to be human beings and adults that have high self-esteem. So thank you so much, and please like, subscribe, and comment, and you can always suggest which video topic you like me to talk about next. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening, thank you for being here. Until next time, that's a bye and a bye. So if it's morning in your place, if it is afternoon in your place, if it is evening or night, have a really good one to yourself. So bye.